Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all well. A bit of a wet day in Reading this afternoon, but there we go. So, if you're tuning in, thanks for coming back. Sorry, I've got a fly buzzing around me. Yes, so this is week 12. So we've covered quite a bit so far. So we're going to recap a few bits and pieces and obviously just push forward a little bit more as well. So if you have any questions, please do fire away on the chat function as we go. So just remember, you do have to be subscribed just in case you this is your first one here for any reason. So a couple of other things just to think about, remembering this is our sort of dedicated half an hour. So if you are, well, whatever device you're on, try and make sure your emails are turned off and, any social media, that kind of thing. So, we just give ourselves that dedicated guitar time, really. So, we're going to go back over a few bits and pieces, as I said. But first of all, let's start with tuning. I'm just going to have to adjust my camera angle ever so slightly. So, okay, so this is our bottom E string we're going to start with. And just have a listen. Obviously, if your string sounds different, try and adjust it until it sounds the same. That's our goal, okay? So, here we go. So this is our bottom E string. Okay, and then A. And then D. And G. And then B. And then finally our top E string. Okay, good. Right, I should just give this a shove out of the way a little bit. If you've got any questions from anything we covered last week, do let me know. I should also mention, obviously last week we had a couple of sound issues, or I did rather. So I re-recorded the lesson from last Thursday. I think it was Saturday, I recorded it again. I put it on my YouTube channel. It seems to have had a few views as well, so I guess most of you have seen it. I did email about it, but just in case you didn't see it, if there was anything that you missed, that lesson was just re-recorded. Obviously, because these lessons I'm just chatting to you live, they're not exactly the same, but the content that we covered, I made sure was the same. So there may be useful bits and pieces that I said in each one. So take from them what you will. So, okay, so cracking on with things then. Today we're going to just recap with the 6-note recap. So that is on page 15 of the book. So we're just going to play through the notes one after another, just forwards and backwards, just making sure that we can remember how to play them, all that kind of thing. So if you turn to page 15, I'll just give you a couple of seconds to get there. And so we're going to start on the note G and work our way up to E. So after 4, here we go. So 3, 4, G, A, B, C, D, E. We're going to repeat and come back. So after 4, so 3, 4, and E, D, C, B, A, and G. Okay, good. So hopefully that was all pretty straightforward for you guys by now. If you find any of that tricky, obviously it just requires a little bit more time and practice. So remembering, I mentioned this in previous lessons, but in terms of practice, what we want to be doing is sort of short bursts of practice as frequently as possible. So the usual advice is, say, 15-20 minutes a day, every day. It's not always possible, obviously. We've all got our lives to lead and everything. So I would say, usually if you can do depending on where you're at, 3 or 4 or more practices that are about 15-20 minutes long. So you're covering everything, you're focusing on any little bits and pieces that you find difficult. So for example, on that recap, if you found, I don't know, stretching up to the note D at the 3rd fret, if you found that a little bit tricky, you just practice it a little bit more than the other notes, you know, and eventually everything falls into place. So at least that's the plan anyway. So okay, so moving on then, we are going to recap exercises 22 and 23. So 22 is all kind of note based, and then 23 is chord based. So we want to, you know, just kind of get used to some of this chord strumming as well. So starting with number 22 then, what we have to remember is we have the rest on beat 1. So that's the kind of the key thing to watch out for. Got our dynamics in there as well. So the P for piano, which is quiet, and F for forte, which is loud. Include those if you want, but they're not a particularly big deal at this stage. So as I've said before, far more important to get the notes and the timing right than being loud and soft in the appropriate places. So we will do the repeats as well. So we'll play the first line twice, and then we'll play bars 5, 6, 7 and 8 twice, and then we finally finish on bar 9. So exercise 22 then, page 18, after 4, so here we go, well I say after 4, remember beat 1 is rest, so it'll be 3, 4, rest, and then we go. Okay, so 3, 4, rest. Rest. Back to the beginning of that line. Rest. 2. Second line, rest. Rest. Repeat, rest. Rest. Final bar, 2, rest. Okay, good stuff. So hopefully that went well. If it did, obviously give yourself a pat on the back and well done. If you didn't, if you've got any questions, fire away. If you found it tricky, obviously just keep doing a little bit of practice on it. Focus on any bars that you found tricky. One thing that's worth pointing out with practice is, say for example, you found bar 3 difficult. Rather than just practicing, for example, like rest, 2, 3, 4, and just doing that over and over until you got it, which, and there is merit in doing that, by the way, because obviously you're getting that bar right, which is cool, but it can also be more useful to play the bar before and after it as well, because often what can happen is you play that bar, you practice it, you get it good, and then when you play the piece of music, what you haven't done is practice like the transition into it and out of it as well. So, for example, if you were finding bar 3 difficult, but bars 1, 2 and 4 you were finding quite easy, this is exercise 22 I should say, then I would suggest you practice from bar 2, for example, then going like this, so you wouldn't necessarily even have to do all of bar 4 or all of bar 2, but just a couple of notes to just sort of lead you into it, so that when you do come to play whatever piece of music it is, you're just bridging yourself into the bit that you find difficult and out again the other side. So it's always worth doing that, I feel. So good. Okay, so let's move on then to number 23. So these are our chords. So before we get stuck into them, let's just make sure we're all good with the chords. So we're going to start with an E chord. So E, we're going to put our middle finger 5th string 2nd fret, and our 3rd finger goes 4th string 2nd fret, and our 1st finger 3rd string 1st fret. And we strum all the strings. Hopefully we get those notes nice and clear. If you find, well, as mentioned before, just make sure these fingers are up on the fingertips. Otherwise, you might get that kind of sound. And if you get that, your fingers are just angling down. So just try and bring them up a little bit. If you feel like they're up and you're still getting some muted sounds, it might be you need a little bit more pressure through the fingers. One question that is sometimes asked is how much pressure is the right amount of pressure to put through the fingers to get the notes out. And unfortunately, that's a really difficult question to answer. But I think the official answer is basically just enough. So what I mean by that is you put just enough pressure through to get the sound of the note out. So for example, 3rd string 1st fret, when we play it in the chord, we want that note. If we don't put enough pressure through, we get that. If you put too much pressure through, it'll still sound fine, but obviously you're exerting unnecessary energy, or expending energy. For this kind of exercise, you'll be fine. But as you progress, for example, if you decided you wanted to become a gigging musician, you went out and played for 2 hours and you're putting way too much effort into everything you did, you're going to struggle to play for 2 hours. So hence, just enough. So just kind of play about with it a little bit until you find what's working for you. But it shouldn't feel overly strenuous anyway. So, okay, so that's our E chord. So to get to A minor, remember we're going to think of it as like a block, and we're going to just move all these fingers as a unit or a block, one string towards the floor, and then we strum from the 5th string. So nice and sort of straightforward. And I say that, I don't mean that flippantly in any way or anything like that, because I appreciate that's not necessarily that straightforward to begin with. However, if we can think of it as a block and a unit and we're just moving that as one, then hopefully that simplifies things. So, let's have a go. So number 23, we'll do the repeats as well. So it's the same structure as number 22 because these are kind of 2 parts that sync together. So first line twice, and then the second line, bars 5 to 8, we play twice. On the second line, if you're finding the chord changes tricky to make, we've got 2 strums in the bar on the second line, so just cut that down to 1, and hopefully you should then be able to keep up. So good luck everybody, and let's go after 4. Okay, so 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 2, 3, 4, back to E, 2, 3, 4, and A minor, 2, 3, and back to the beginning, 4, 2, 3, 4, and A minor, 2, 3, 4, and E, 2, 3, 4, and A minor, 2, 3, and onto the second line, so E and again, so the second time, A minor, 2, and on 3, 4, back to E, 2, 3, 4, back to A minor, 2, 3, back to the beginning of the line, E, 2, 3, 4, and A minor, 2, 3, 4, back to E, 2, 3, 4, and A minor, 2, 3, 4, and E again, and then we do one more and finish there. So yeah, again, give yourself a pat on the back if that all went well. Fingers crossed it did. So yeah, remember obviously all these backing tracks are online on my YouTube channel, and they're also played along, or I've put them on in previous lessons and that kind of thing. So they're a fantastic way of figuring out, is your timing correct? Can I play all the right notes in the right places at the right time and that kind of thing? So it's a very famous joke about that kind of thing, actually, isn't it? So just check that out if you look up Eric Morecambe. I'm sure you'll find it. So okay, so let's move on then. So next up we have the new note F. So we talked a bit about this last week. This is page 19, and we covered exercise 24, so we will do that in just a second. So to play the note F, we go to the first string at the first fret, remembering we want to not be too close to the nut, which is the white bit there. So we come up to this side of the fret, and we should get this nice clear kind of sound. So let's all play that F together. Okay, so first finger, first string, first fret. Okay, so 3, 4, and F. Cool. So if it sounded any different, just double check. You know, is your finger at the right fret? Hadn't crept up or anything like that. Hopefully that was all sounding good. Anyway. So let's move on to exercise 24 then. So this one we're just changing between the notes E and F. So it's sort of relatively straightforward. You can add in the dynamics if you want to. Sort of mention those earlier as which one's which. At the back of the book, I'm not sure I've mentioned this at all yet, but there's a page, a glossary page, which if you can't remember what some of the symbols mean and that, then just refer to that, and hopefully that will cover and explain what we mean. So, okay, so let's give it a go. We've got a repeat at the end of the line, so we're going to play the whole thing twice. So, good luck everybody. After 4, here we go. So, 3, 4. Rest. Rest, back to the beginning. Rest. Rest. Okay, good stuff. So hopefully that was all pretty straightforward and you're all good with that. Give yourself a pat on the back as usual if it went well. So we are going to move on then. So exercise 25, flamenco fire. So we've got F and E, so it's primarily kind of practice around those notes as well, but there are a couple of others. In fact, it's only one other note, which is D. So remember our D, that's our second string at the 3rd fret. So from what I remember of the backing track, this one is a little bit faster than the tempo of the previous exercise, or most of the other exercises in the book to date. But we're only playing notes that last for 1 beat rather than quavers, which last for half a beat. So it will feel a little bit faster than normal, but hopefully not too fast compared to other stuff we've played so far. So I will play it to you. I'll do the repeat, so I'll say the notes and also count the timing second time round. So feel free to join in if you want. Remember we've got rest at the beginning of beat 1 in some of the bars, so keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for the minims. Remember to count 2 after the minims just to help maintain that timing. But other than that, hopefully it'll be reasonably straightforward. Okay. Now the tempo is going to be more kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of thing. So a little bit quicker than previously. So I'll play it like that. If you're going to join in, then please do so, and good luck. Okay, so here we go. So after 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. Rest. F, E, D, E, E, rest. F, F, D, E, E, rest. F, E, D, E, rest, rest. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, rest. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. Okay, so hopefully that all kind of makes sense. And if you manage to play along with it, then very well done, because that is definitely a little bit faster than normal. So what we are going to do is, what I'm going to do is put the track on so you can have a listen. So I'll just find this bit on the screen here for you. So we are looking at Flamenco Fire down here. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. This is the wrong bit there, apologies. So it's number 25. Okay, here we go. Okay, jolly good. So hopefully, I'm just going to turn my speakers down a little actually, because that was a little louder than I was anticipating. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy that. There's a little bit of information underneath that about flamenco. So I absolutely love flamenco guitar. I think it's amazing. So it's one of those things, like if you get into it, there's so much to learn, and it's the guitarists are just amazing. So it's definitely something worth checking out if you enjoy your sort of guitar playing, your guitar music, and I presume you do as soon as you're on these lessons. So definitely worth checking out. So, but let's move forward. So if we turn the page, we're going on to page 20, and we have another new note, which is G. So G is when the note is just resting on top of the stave. So I'll just bring the music back up again, just so you can see that. So, so yeah, that one there. So we've got the note resting on top of the stave there, which is G. The little 3 before it is telling us to use our 3rd finger. So this is all kind of information here. And the other thing just to be aware of, you can see that little 1 at the start of the bar there, just next to the 2 4s. That's just telling us it's bar 1. So some music publications have that, some don't. So okay, so let me turn that off. Okay, so 26 then. So we've got the new note G, and we've also got E's and F's in it. So all notes on the 1st string. So newer kind of territory for us, but hopefully reasonably okay. Because sort of, we're not going too quick, hopefully. So, okay, so there's no repeat on this one. At least I thought there was, but there isn't on my copy, so I'm going to assume there isn't. So I'll just play it to you. I'll say some of the notes, some of the timing as we go, and yeah, just again, feel free to join in, play along if you want or want to attempt it, and feel free to ask any questions if you have any. So, okay, here we go. So after 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. E2, E2, G, G, F, F, E2, E2, F, F, G, F, E2, E2, G, G, F, F, E2. Okay, so again, I'll just pop the track on, we'll have a listen to it, and I will sort of tap away on the thing so you can see where we're at. So I hope you enjoy this one. Here we go. Okay, jolly good. So, hopefully that all made sense. Hope you enjoy that one. And what we're going to do is have a look, just to finish off with, at exercise 27, the Grand Central Cafe. So we're predominantly focusing on the notes on the top string, so your E's and G's looking at this, but we've got crotchets and quavers, and we do also have some notes on the other strings as well. So it's a bit of a kind of combination actually of things we've learned to date. So yeah, watch out for the quavers. Remember quavers, you've got two of those in the space of one crotchet, and a crotchet is a one beat note. Other than that, there's nothing particularly new in there, I don't think. So, you know, it might take a bit of practice, but hopefully it should be okay. Add the dynamics in if you want. Just a reminder, that sort of arrow looking thing underneath bars 3 and 4 is a crescendo, so we're going to increase the volume as we play those two bars, if we think of it. As I said before, that's not really that important at this stage. So, okay, so let's give it a go. So after 4, here we go. So 3, 4. Rest. Rest. Okay, I'm actually going to play it again and just say the note names as we go, just so you get a feel for it. So again, feel free to join in if you would like to, or you feel comfortable to. So let's move to the stool. Okay, so here we go. So 3, 4, and E, G, G, E, rest. E, G, G, E, rest. E, D, C, B, C, B, A, rest. E, G, G, E, rest. E, G, G, E, rest. E, A, C, B, E, D, E, rest. Okay, so let's have a listen to this on the track so you can get a feel for it. So number 27, let me just find that. So here we go. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, and that is our tune. So again, hope that is enjoyable and not too difficult or anything like that. So right, where are we at? That's probably a good place to finish up for today. So let's just recap a couple of things, like what we want to be focusing on for the week. So I would suggest that we stick with the warm-up of exercises 22 and 23, primarily just so we can get a bit of practice on the chords as much as anything really. Just, you know, if you're finding those really easy, then that's brilliant. But typically I've found people tend to find changing chords a little bit tricky initially, so it's worth just spending a bit of time on that. Obviously, any exercises you found difficult previously, we want to continue with those, go back over them. So the main new ones we had today were exercises 25, 26 and 27. So we've got the new note G, we've got a newish note F, which we covered last week, obviously in those as well. And I think that's pretty much it really. So yeah, as we mentioned, try and keep up the practice, sort of 3, 4, 5 times a week would be ideal. And next week, I was actually planning on sending something else round. So the Top Gun anthem, which I don't know whether you know that. It's a very classic kind of electric guitar piece, and it's actually reasonably straightforward. So at some point in the next couple of days, I'll probably try and send it early this week. Sorry, early next week even. I will email around a link so you can download it, and then next week we can have a go at trying to play along or play the Top Gun anthem. So it's a really cool tune, so definitely worth checking out. So yeah, I will get that over to you. Otherwise, I think that's pretty much it. The lesson link will get sent around next week as well. And the other thing I was going to say is if you happen to know anybody else that you think might be interested in learning guitar, and you think these lessons might be useful for, then please do share it around. You know, it could be a school friend, could be a work colleague, could be a parent or something like that. So yeah, the more the merrier really. So they're all online, so do feel free to share away. So, but that's pretty much it. So we'll leave it there for today. So thank you for showing up and taking part in the lesson, and I'll hopefully see you all next Thursday. Okay, take care then. Bye bye.